What's up, everybody? Ryan Constantino here, bringing you an inside look, director's commentary for my latest short film, Reflection. Reflection is a 6.5-minute film about the eternal struggle that anyone might go through on a daily basis, being your worst critic, let's say. We shot the movie at a local place here in Canyon Country, California, called Casa Vieja. Many thanks to them for letting us come in there. They have a beautiful establishment with a lot of really interesting Mexican paintings and like cool signs and stuff like that. It's a great place. We had a pretty tight schedule when we were shooting it. The Mexican restaurant opened at 11 o'clock. So we had to be out of there by 11. The total elapsed time for the film is 6.5 minutes, and it kind of translates to about 6 pages worth of dialogue. The total script itself was 7 pages, but that was a lot. It's a lot to get through in such a short amount of time. We showed up at 5 o'clock in the morning, so first shot was at 6. Well, I was there with my crew at 5, and the friends of mine that are actors, the talent, showed up at 5:30. First shot was at 6. And even at that point, the sun wasn't up yet because it's so early. So we did the scenes in the bathroom first and got that out of the way, and then moved on to shooting the rest of it. It was really fun, but it was really challenging at the same time. And I would definitely, pour my kind of heart and soul into making this thing happen. It was a pretty big project to do really quickly. So without further ado, let's take a look. So this little intro, Upper State Entertainment, that's my production company. Do a lot of stuff, like on the side. So at the top of the film here, you can see I have the kind of shot on a tripod, but I wasn't too happy with it. I was experimenting with like a larger lens, and by larger I mean like a wider lens. It's a 14.5 millimeter lens, which was 29 millimeters with the camera that I'm shooting on. So I kind of added this like artificial, camera zoom in just to kind of like try to spice it up a little bit. It turned out okay. So that's Kara there on the right, and Dave. Dave is actually a stand-up comedian on the side there, as one of the things that he does. He's a really funny guy. He was showing up at 5:30, telling a bunch of jokes and stuff. It was a lot of fun. So this kind of scene right here, I was kind of limited in how I could get some light in here, because that little hallway was actually pretty small. But luckily enough, I got some light from that ambient light from the door, the top of the door. There's like a window in it, and I had a light coming in from the right that kind of gave her a backlight, and a light that was coming over Dave's shoulder. It was too powerful, but it was supposed to be his backlight, but kind of forgot to turn it off during this one. We were moving pretty quickly. So when she shows him the picture of the blind date, that's actually a little After Effects trick with screen tracking. It turned out okay. The picture that's in there, he just sent that to me over text. It was kind of funny.
Flappy Bird is not the only thing giving.
So there's a couple references in here. One of them is for the medical mobile phone industrial complex, which is supposed to be, like the stereotypical conspiracy theory kind of thing. And of course, we've got, she says, Flappy Bird is not the only thing giving her a headache. That's kind of a topical joke. If you don't know what Flappy Bird is, you should look it up, and it's pretty fun.
Ma'am, no, I've not seen your boyfriend, but if you'd like, I can take you to an empty seat while you wait for him.
Perfect.
Great.
So here we go into the bathroom scene. We've got the The score in the background is one that I composed specifically for this. It's supposed to be kind of fun and comedic. I actually did these shots by shooting a couple different things. I first set up the camera and shot Dave doing his lines in front of the mirror. So everything that's in the mirror, I did that first. And then I had him sit on the right side, same exact setup, just straight on, pretend like he was getting yelled at by himself. And I brought the stuff into the footage into After Effects and kind of cut out the mirror, and made sure that the overlap between where his shoulder is in the mirror, that blended properly. And then I also added like an artificial camera shake to make it look like it was kind of like handheld. So that's actually not real. I shot the whole thing on tripod so I could do the effects very easily and not have to worry about, kind of tracking and moving mirror. That would have been very difficult if I didn't have the time to set it up correctly. So that was a lot of fun to kind of shoot that. And of course, the reverse is actually just a handheld, wide lens in that one. Very small bathroom. The 28 millimeter lens that I was shooting with, it actually made this bathroom kind of like look bigger than it is. Like he probably could have put his hands out like this and touched either wall. Like it was pretty small in there. And of course, here's Chris McGahan, and great guy showing up with the awkward power.
Thank God, I don't think I could see a future with her if she was. Alice.
Donnie.
Hi.
So here we go, first introductions. You can hear when they hug, the lav mics that they're wearing, like right here in the chest. It's it gets muffled. There's nothing I really could do about that.
You look so much bigger in your picture than you do in real life.
Oh.
So I actually got pretty lucky at this restaurant. If you look at the window in the upper right-hand corner there, the restaurant had a lot of really heavy tint on their windows to begin with. So, I was kind of like shooting straight into the windows, and it wasn't super overexposed. Like a lot of times, if you would try that, with just a regular window when it's like really bright outside right in the morning there, that whole window would have just been completely white. You wouldn't have been able to see like the green post or the fence or the bushes. You wouldn't have been able to see it. It would have just been white. Interesting thing about those fluorescent compact bulbs that a lot of people like to use for those soft boxes, you usually get them at Home Depot and stuff like that. They have like a green spectrum inside of them that makes things difficult to kind of like navigate, when it comes to color correction, stuff like that. One of the easiest ways to remove that green tinge from those stereotypical like hardware box stores lights is to get like a minus green color gel. It's like a light pink kind of a color, and that'll do really nicely in getting rid of that kind of green tinge. And a lot of times you see that in the skin color is usually where it comes out of. So there's Karen Maiko doing a wonderful role as a server, as an actor rightly should. We got the bar in the background there, which is pretty cool, and. Of course, if you look really closely, she drops off the drinks and then she starts putting the chips down. And then if you look now, it's the the salsa and then it's the chips again. So, it wasn't consistent, but I tried to kind of cut around it. It's kind of out of frame. Can't really see it that well, no big deal. But it was kind of funny. So Karen is actually a dancer and a model and hugely talented on the side as well. So I kind of wrote this part for her to be kind of fun to have a little fun on set and do a little dance routine. Now she was like getting really into it, which was really funny. So, but a lot of fun to watch, and it was really cold in there. And then when she started dancing, she was like, "Oh yeah, I'm starting to warm up a little bit." So that's nice.
And you think you're ready for Broadway. Ready to order?
Yeah, I'll have those enchiladas.
Okay, that comes with the beans and rice.
Oh, can I get something instead of the rice?
Sure, what would you like?
More beans?
And for you?
Yeah, I will have.
So if you look in the background, you can kind of see like some of these chairs that have these like beautiful paintings on them. I was actually told by one of the employees there that the owner of this restaurant, bought all these chairs like from, I think it was Guadalajara or somewhere in Mexico, had them imported from Mexico. They're really amazing pieces of art drawn on the back of these chairs. That's another thing too. This is actually the men's restroom, and we had both, the men and the women doing doing the bathroom scenes, the yelling at yourself in the mirror scenes in the men's restroom, just because the format, the layout of that bathroom was so much easier to shoot into. Like the camera, as it sits in this shot right now, is all the way up against the wall, kind of around the corner. And, it's hard to kind of to move around such a small bathroom. The women's bathroom wasn't laid out the same way, so we couldn't shoot in there. And besides, the walls were pink and everything, and that was going to kind of like, bleed onto the skin tone and everything like that. So we didn't want that. I also thought it was kind of funny, this like yellow sign in the lower left-hand corner. State law says you must wash your hands. I was like, oh, we'll leave that in there because that's in every bathroom. So why not?
What am I doing? It doesn't have to be like this. I'm just gonna.
And of course, his realization here in this scene is that he can kind of break the cycle by just telling her that he likes her instead of beating himself over the head with a hammer, like, you're terrible, you don't deserve her. It's all about, coming to grips with, who you are in reality, and, not necessarily listening to that little voice in your head, that might be, your worst critic.
Big mistake, pal.
Now, these are interesting. For these close-ups, I was shooting on a 45 millimeter lens, which for my camera, it's like a 90 millimeter lens. And, really flattering, kind of like that. This is like as close-up as I want to, personally, I'd like to get it in terms of close-ups. I don't really like filling the frame with the face because it can kind of feel claustrophobic if you ask me. But over here we have this we have like a 650, tungsten light coming over her right shoulder here, and kind of giving her this lighting up her hair and kind of making it glow. And then I've got a softbox coming in from the right side of the frame, just to kind of give that kind of like ambient light look. It's not very typical to see this kind of a style when it comes to comedies. A lot of times comedies will be like, really bright and vivid and, have like a lot of light in them and be really well lit. And I wanted to kind of do something a little different. I wanted to, make a little bit of a dramatic kind of a look, just to kind of juxtapose, the comedic nature and give it, personal flair, personal style. Because I really like this. I really like the way that it looks with, this kind of like this kind of crushed out background. It's black over on the right side, but we can clearly see the subject, in the foreground here. Another interesting bit about what I did when I was doing post-production on the entire film, I actually spent a bunch of time like denoising the entire sequence, and my camera didn't have a lot of noise to begin with. I was shooting about 400 ISO for the entire thing. I spent a lot of time denoising the footage, and then I went back through and did a color grade and also added like an artificial film grain. So if you look really closely, kind of like in the background, like in HD settings on YouTube perhaps, you can see this like little kind of a film grain going on in the background. But I really like the way it kind of gives it, kind of a fuzzier look, a more real look to it. Of course, film being the one thing that everyone's trying to to emulate.
I will, honey. As long as you take a chance on me.
Aw, isn't that the cutest first date you've ever seen?
It's disgusting.
So there you have it, Reflection. It's a short film written by me and directed by me, of course, with the beautiful Kara Roberts, the hilarious Chris McGahan, the talented Karen Maiko, and the funny Dave Gregory. Help from my friend Alex. She helped me get into the location and was able to get that going, which was fantastic. Big thanks to Casa Vieja Grill and Hollywood Studio Rentals, rented from them. So this is what's interesting about this very last scene here. You might be thinking why is it even here? It's not even that interesting. That doesn't have anything to do with the plot, right? Well, the concept is supposed to be that no matter what you do, even if you do pour your heart out to, the person that you're eating dinner with, it's still gonna be kind of awkward, afterwards. It's a first date. What are you gonna do? Super big thank you to everyone that was involved in making it. This is a kind of a milestone for somebody like me, in producing and directing a short film, and I love the way it turned out. It's got that kind of this, light-hearted, flavor to it that was exactly what I was going for. It came together, very nicely in such a short period of time. and I'm glad that everyone was there to pitch in and turn it into the project that it currently is. Well, there you have it, director's commentary for Reflection. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.